you're a fan of romance manga and anime, then you're probably familiar with the many cliches and stereotypes associated with the genre. Why do they always take place in high school? Why do the main couple feel like they're already together before they even start going out? Why does the story end when the main couple get together? That last point seems to be a point of contention for some people. While watching the main couple get together is the goal, ending it there means that the readers miss out on the even more difficult journey of watching said couple learn to maintain a healthy relationship. I understand why so many writers prefer to end on the happily ever after. A big part of the genre's appeal is catharsis after all. But wouldn't it be nice if there was a manga that focused on the struggle of being a good partner instead? Maybe they could throw a chick in it and make her gay? How Do We Relationship centers on Miwa Inuzuka and Seiko... Seiko? Is it pronounced Seiko? Screw it, I'll just keep saying Seiko. Seiko Sawatari, two college freshmen who, after too many drinks, come out to each other as gay. With this information out in the open, and the two of them not knowing any other gay women, Miwa and Seiko start a relationship of convenience. You'd be surprised how often this happens. From here, Miwa and Seiko go through the ugly process of learning not only what they want in a romantic relationship, but how to be good partners themselves. Much like my experience reading Gunsmith Cats last year, I read this comic on a whim and it quickly became one of my favorites. After years of being indoctrinated into the world of high school romance manga and anime, this story was a breath of fresh air. The leads are adults, they struggle with maintaining their relationship, as well as the double standards they face from being an openly gay couple in Japan. It just feels very authentic. But I don't want to write a standard review of the series, that'd be boring for me. No, what I want to focus on today is a surprisingly nuanced handling of physical and emotional intimacy, and how it can make or break a relationship. Sex is a big aspect of this comic, but it never feels sleazy. The use of sex and physical intimacy in this manga always feels that it has a purpose within the story, such as revealing more about our cast's lives and personalities. So, I want to shine a light on the relationships of our two leading ladies throughout their story as an example of how physical and emotional intimacy are used by the mangaka in a thoughtful way. I'll be spoiling events from this point further, so if you haven't read the manga, this is your last chance to turn back. Seiko is a character with deep-rooted insecurities who uses sex as a band-aid fix for her relationship troubles. She fears jealousy because of her experience with an ex whom she had to dump for mistreating her after becoming jealous. Seiko childishly believes that as long as neither partner becomes jealous of the other, and more importantly, avoids having a serious argument over it, that the relationship will be fine. And that any issues that can't be talked out can be fixed with sex. And it's rightly treated as a character flaw. Seiko herself ends up becoming jealous of her Miwa's lingering feelings for her high school crush, and instead of being forward about her feelings, she decides to bottle them up and use sex as a distraction to keep Miwa from leaving her for another woman. Eventually, in her first major moment of character development, Seiko ends the relationship after realizing it has become one-sided, and that no amount of sex can fix the fact that she's the only one of the two who's in love. There's a really brutal moment after their breakup where Seiko vents to her future girlfriend about her breakup with Miwa. She breaks down crying and declares, "Damn it, I just wanted to be loved." I bet all my fellow weebs out there felt that gut punch. Before going forward, it's important to point out that Seiko was the more experienced of the two, and was Miwa's first girlfriend. So, what happens to a woman who's just had her sexual awakening when she enters into a relationship with someone with completely opposing views on sex? Tamaki is Miwa's second girlfriend for the middle portion of the manga. What's interesting about her pairing with Miwa is their differing views on sex, and how, intentionally or not, Tamaki makes Miwa feel ashamed of her body. Tamaki likes being physically intimate, but not the same way Miwa does. She enjoys kissing, hugging, and touching bare bodies in bed or while bathing together, but doesn't like the act of sex itself. She views it as unnecessary and dismisses Miwa's sexual needs in their relationship as a burden. On the other hand, Miwa feels that sex is necessary for her to feel connected to Tamaki, and without it, feels that she's missing a key piece of their relationship, as sex is Miwa's most passionate way of declaring her love for someone. Later, Miwa tries to go celibate in a futile effort to keep their relationship afloat. This just causes her emotional trauma, as the longer she tries to keep up the charade, the more she becomes ashamed of her bodily desires. Things finally come to a head when Miwa meets Tamaki in person to come clean about her sexual needs, which Tamaki dismisses as silly. Miwa ends the relationship explaining that it's okay if Tamaki doesn't understand her physical needs, but that their relationship will never work when they have such opposing views on what constitutes intimacy. This is a shockingly mature portrayal of sexual relations. Like it or not, sex is important to a romantic relationship and can be a make it or break it factor. A lot of people don't like to talk about this for fear of sounding inappropriate, but it's the truth. The physical aspect of relationships can't be ignored, so the comic's willingness to tackle this often shunned topic is respectable. But what happens when physical intimacy isn't enough? The last major relationship the manga focuses on is Saiko's relationship with her second college girlfriend, Yuri. What's interesting about Saiko and Yuri's relationship is that they have the exact opposite problem of Miwa and Tamaki's. Saiko and Yuri enjoy a healthy sex-positive relationship that fosters their physical needs and even helps Saiko get over her body image issues. However, no matter how positive the physical side of the relationship is, it can't make up for emotional discrepancies. Saiko desires feeling needed in her partner's life. She wants to not only spend time with Yuri and be desired sexually, but feel that she's a necessary part of her everyday life. Yuri's mind, however, is wired differently. She genuinely loves Saiko and enjoys spending time with her, but when the two begin living together, Yuri starts feeling uncomfortable. She feels that her personal space has been violated and even bursts to tears when Saiko cleans her filthy apartment and makes her dinner when she's at beauty school. To Saiko, this is what a good girlfriend does, but to Yuri, she feels that Saiko is babying her with all these gestures, making her feel inadequate, as if Saiko believes that she can't take care of herself. The two decide to take a break from one another, and it's here where Yuri realizes that she can't make it work long term because she prefers being independent, and doesn't like the work required to maintain a relationship. She loves Saiko, but prefers her solitude and using her time to further her career. She even states during the final chapter, "I just don't think I'm cut out to seriously date anyone. I start to think about how I'd rather be spending what little free time I have improving my job skills." Once again, showing a great deal of maturity, Saiko initiates the breakup after coming to the same conclusion. The two acknowledge that their respective emotional desires aren't compatible, but agree to remain friends. And just like the end of any relationship, when one door closes, another opens, and they learn a great deal about themselves in the process. I could explore things further by digging into how Miwa and Saiko get back together, or how some of the side characters change and mature through their relationships, but I think I made my point. In conclusion, How Do We Relationship is one of the most emotionally mature romance manga I've ever read. If for some reason you finished the video and still haven't experienced it, I implore you to give it a read. I think you'll be impressed.